Admiral James Porter stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Force flagship Resilience *, his weathered face reflecting the blue glow of tactical displays. Through the main view screen, he observed the massive Galactic Imperial vessel hanging in space like a metal mountain. The Imperial ship dwarfed the Resilience * by at least 6 times, its hull adorned with the distinctive golden markings of the Emperor's elite fleet. "They're hailing us again, sir," said Lieutenant Kelly, her fingers hovering over the communications panel. Porter nodded firmly. On screen. The view screen shifted to reveal the face of Imperial Commander Dax, a tall humanoid with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed to glow with artificial enhancement. Behind Porter, representatives from Earth's United Council shifted nervously in their seats. "Admiral Porter," Dax's voice boomed with the artificial translation overlay. "The Empire's patience grows thin. Your planet has delayed formal integration proceedings for 3 standard cycles. Emperor Krell demands your answer today." Porter exchanged glances with Council President Rivera, who gave a slight nod. "Commander Dax," Porter began, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "I am authorized to deliver Earth's official response to the Galactic Empire's integration proposal." The bridge fell silent. Even the usual beeping of instruments seemed to pause. Earth formally rejects integration into the Galactic Empire. Furthermore, by unanimous vote of Earth's United Council, the Sol system is hereby declared off-limits to all Imperial vessels, personnel, and influence. This is not a negotiation. This is a declaration. Dax's expression shifted from smug confidence to disbelief. A ripple of murmurs spread among his bridge officers. "Surely you jest." Dax finally responded, his translator struggling to convey his tone. "Earth has possessed faster-than-light technology for barely 50 years. You are infants in a universe of giants." "Nevertheless," Porter continued, "our position is final. You have 24 hours to withdraw all Imperial assets from our system. After that time, any Imperial presence will be considered hostile and responded to accordingly." Dax laughed, the sound strange through the translation system. "With what? Your primitive ships, your handful of colonies. Earth is nothing but a resource-rich world perfect for Imperial expansion. You have no idea of the power you're defying." President Rivera stepped forward. "We understand perfectly the power of the Empire, Commander. That's precisely why we're drawing this line. For 30,000 years, your empire has consumed worlds and cultures. That ends here, with us." Dax's expression hardened. "This is unprecedented. No world has ever rejected Imperial integration once offered." "Then we're proud to be the first," Porter replied. "The Emperor will not accept this insult," Dax warned. "You've seen only a fraction of our military might." Porter leaned forward. "And you've seen nothing of ours." With a gesture to Lieutenant Kelly, Porter ended the transmission. The view screen returned to the image of the Imperial vessel. "Defense grid status," Porter asked calmly. "All orbital platforms online, sir," reported Commander Wilson from Tactical. "Luna Base and Mars Defense Ring report ready. The Jupiter outposts are armed and tracking." Porter turned to face the Council representatives. "It begins now. They'll test us first, probably a single warship to gauge our resolve and capabilities." President Rivera looked solemn. "Will we hold?" "We must," Porter replied. "We've prepared for this day since we found that crashed scout ship in Arizona 80 years ago. Everything depends on the next few weeks." On the view screen, the Imperial vessel's engines flared to life. It was turning away, presumably to report Earth's shocking defiance to the Emperor himself. Porter watched it go, knowing this was just the beginning. Humanity had thrown down the gauntlet to the greatest power in the known galaxy. "And so it begins," he whispered. 3 standard weeks after Earth's declaration, sensors at Neptune's orbit detected the telltale ripple of a ship dropping out of hyperspace. The vessel was smaller than Commander Dax's battlecruiser, an ornate diplomatic shuttle with the Imperial crest emblazoned on its hull. Captain Robert Lee of the Earth vessel Sentinel received the alert while patrolling the outer boundary. His ship was one of 12 forming Earth's newly established boundary fleet. Single Imperial vessel detected, reported Ensign Martin. Configuration matches diplomatic class. They're broadcasting Imperial diplomatic codes. Lee straightened in his command chair. Alert Admiral Porter. All hands to battle stations. Battle stations for a diplomatic vessel, sir? Martin questioned. The Empire doesn't understand the meaning of no, Lee replied. Let's be ready for anything. The Sentinel moved to intercept, joined by 2 other Earth ships, the Defiant and the Horizon . Together, they formed a triangular blockade in the diplomatic vessel's path. They're hailing us, Captain, said Communications Officer Patel. On screen. The view screen revealed an elegant Imperial official with silvery skin and elongated features. He wore the formal robes of an Imperial ambassador. I am Ambassador Rex of the Galactic Empire, he announced with practiced smoothness. I come with peaceful intent to correct a most unfortunate misunderstanding between Earth and the Emperor. This is Captain Robert Lee of Earth Defense Force. There is no misunderstanding, Ambassador. Earth has declared the Sol system off-limits to Imperial presence. You are in violation of that declaration. Ambassador Rex smiled condescendingly. Captain, surely you understand that no single world can simply ban the Galactic Empire. It violates interstellar law established over 30 millennia. Your laws don't apply here, Lee stated firmly. Turn your vessel around and exit the system immediately. Rex's expression hardened. This is unprecedented defiance. In the Emperor's generous wisdom, he has sent me to offer Earth one final opportunity to reconsider before consequences become severe. The only severe consequences will be to your vessel if you proceed further into our system, Lee warned. You threaten an Imperial diplomatic vessel. Rex seemed genuinely shocked. This is grounds for immediate military response under Section 17 of the Imperial Charter. Lee leaned forward in his chair. Let me be absolutely clear, Ambassador. You have one option. Turn back or be destroyed. This is absurd, Rex exclaimed. By Imperial law, I have diplomatic immunity to proceed. We don't recognize Imperial law, Lee interrupted. Final warning. Rex's face flushed with anger. Earth will regret this arrogance. I am proceeding to Earth under diplomatic protection. The Imperial shuttle's engines flared brighter as it attempted to move past the Earth blockade. All ships, move to Formation Delta, Lee ordered calmly. The 3 Earth vessels shifted into a new pattern, surrounding the Imperial shuttle. From hidden compartments on each Earth ship, strange devices emerged, technology the Empire had never seen deployed by humans. What is this? Rex demanded, his confidence wavering as his sensors detected the unfamiliar energy signatures. Something your scouts missed, Lee replied. Targeting systems locked. The devices on the Earth ships began to glow with pulsing blue energy. Small satellites detached, forming a containment grid around the Imperial shuttle. This is your last chance, Ambassador, Lee warned. Retreat or witness firsthand why Earth is not to be trifled with. For the first time in his long diplomatic career, Ambassador Rex felt genuine fear. The energy readings from the Earth weapons were unlike anything in Imperial records. How had these primitives acquired such technology? This is impossible, he stammered. You're bluffing. Captain Lee's expression remained stone cold. Care to find out? After a tense moment, the Imperial shuttle's engines reversed thrust. A wise decision, Lee noted. Lieutenant Patel, please inform the Ambassador that his retreat will be monitored until he exits the system. As the Imperial shuttle turned, Rex's face on the view screen showed a mixture of shock and indignation. The Emperor will hear of this, he threatened. We're counting on it, Lee replied before cutting the transmission. Emperor Krell sat motionless on his crystalline throne as Ambassador Rex finished his report. The vast Imperial audience chamber, filled with courtiers and military officials, had fallen completely silent. "You retreated," the Emperor finally said, his voice deceptively soft. "From primitives." Ambassador Rex bowed lower, his forehead nearly touching the polished floor. "Great Emperor, their weapons, they were unlike anything in our records." The energy signatures suggested. Silence. Emperor Krell rose from his throne, his 7-foot frame imposing even from across the chamber. A world that has barely mastered rudimentary space travel does not suddenly possess technology that frightens an Imperial ambassador. Admiral Jorka, commander of the Imperial fleet, stepped forward. "My Emperor, our initial scout reports clearly classified Earth as a Level 3 civilization. Their military capabilities were assessed as minimal." "Then explain this," Krell demanded, gesturing to the holographic display showing the energy readings from Earth's boundary ships. Chief Science Advisor Trill adjusted her spectacles nervously. "These readings suggest containment field technology, Your Imperial Majesty. But it's impossible. Earth shouldn't have such capabilities for at least another century, even with accelerated development." Emperor Krell's eyes narrowed. "I will not allow this insult to stand. A primitive world does not dictate terms to the Galactic Empire." He turned to Admiral Jorka. "Prepare a battle group. Show these humans the consequence of defiance." "At once, Your Majesty." Admiral Jorka bowed deeply. "Not you," Krell said coldly. "Admiral Voss will lead this mission." Admiral Voss stepped forward, his scared face revealing no emotion. Known throughout the galaxy as the Hammer, Voss had crushed 17 planetary rebellions during his career. "I am honored, Emperor," Voss said, bowing. "How shall I proceed?" "Decisively," Emperor Krell replied. "Bypass their outer defenses, strike directly at Earth, make an example of one of their major cities. Once they understand true Imperial power, their resistance will crumble." Admiral Voss nodded. "I will depart immediately with the 5th Battle Group. 25 warships should be sufficient to break through whatever defenses they possess." As the Imperial leadership planned their attack, half a galaxy away, Earth was preparing. General Anna Wright strode through the underground complex beneath the Rocky Mountains, technicians and soldiers scrambling to keep up with her brisk pace. "Status of the orbital defense grid," she demanded. Colonel Jackson checked his tablet. "All 157 platforms are online and operational, General. Power systems at 98% capacity." Wright nodded curtly as they entered the command center, a massive chamber filled with holographic displays and bustling personnel. "Admiral Porter is on Secure Channel 1, announced a communications officer. Wright activated the display. Admiral Porter's face appeared, looking grave. "General, our deep space monitoring stations have detected Imperial fleet movements. Intelligence suggests Admiral Voss is being dispatched with the 5th Battle Group." Wright's expression hardened. "Voss, the Hammer himself. I suppose we should be flattered." "This confirms our timeline," Porter replied. "They'll be here within 5 days. Then it's time to activate Project Aegis," Wright said, turning to the central command table. "Begin Planetary Defense Protocol Alpha." Around the world, hidden installations hummed to life. Beneath the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, massive structures began to rise from the seabed. In orbit, satellites shifted position, revealing previously concealed components. In the lunar base, Dr. Alex Morgan watched the activity with a mixture of pride and apprehension. "They're coming," his assistant said, looking at the incoming data. "We've been preparing for this day for 50 years, Morgan replied, activating the main control panel. "Ever since we recovered that crashed Imperial scout ship in 2037. On the main screen, a schematic appeared showing Earth surrounded by layers of defensive systems. Technology reverse-engineered from Imperial designs, but modified in ways the Empire couldn't anticipate. The Emperor thinks we're primitives playing with technology we don't understand," Morgan said, watching as the lunar defense arrays powered up. "He's half right. We don't fully understand it. We've improved it. Back in the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Wright addressed the assembled military leaders of Earth. The Empire believes this will be a simple demonstration of force, she said, her voice steady. They expect us to surrender after the first strike. Instead, they're going to learn what happens when you corner a species that spent its entire history perfecting the art of warfare. She activated the Global Defense Network with a single command. Let them come. Imperial Admiral Voss stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion *, as his battle group emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. The massive warship dwarfed the other 24 vessels in his fleet, its hull bristling with weapons capable of reducing a city to ash in seconds. Scans showed Neptune directly ahead, Admiral, reported Commander Zax. No sign of Earth defenses yet. Voss nodded, his scared face illuminated by the blue glow of tactical displays. Proceed to designated coordinates. Launch scout ships to survey the path ahead. The Imperial fleet moved forward in perfect formation, their engines leaving trails of energy against the blackness of space. 3 scout ships darted ahead, their sleek forms disappearing into the distance. Admiral. Commander Zax suddenly straightened at his console. We've lost contact with the scout ships. Voss frowned. All 3. Simultaneously. Yes, sir. Last transmissions indicated they were approaching Neptune's outer rings. Before Voss could respond, the tactical officer called out, energy signatures detected. Multiple vessels emerging from Neptune's rings. The main view screen showed small ships appearing from hiding places within the planet's icy rings. Earth vessels, much smaller than Imperial warships, but moving with surprising speed and coordination. Primitive ambush tactics, Voss sneered. Battle group, advance, and eliminate. The Imperial warships surged forward, weapons charging. But as they approached Neptune's orbit, something unexpected happened. The Earth ships didn't retreat or engage directly. Instead, they darted through the rings, drawing the Imperial ships into pursuit. Commander Zax looked confused. They're leading us into the densest part of the rings, Admiral. They're desperate, Voss replied confidently. They hope to use the debris as cover. Continue pursuit and. A massive energy surge cut him off as hidden devices throughout Neptune's rings suddenly activated. Gravitational distortion fields, technology the Empire had abandoned centuries ago as too unstable, began pulling chunks of ice and rock into deadly streams of projectiles. Evasive maneuvers, Voss shouted as a barrage of ring material accelerated toward his fleet. 3 Imperial ships were struck immediately, their shields failing under the impossible velocity of the debris. A 4th ship lost control and collided with another, both erupting in spectacular explosions that added to the chaos. How is this possible? Commander Zax gasped as their sensors revealed the true extent of Earth's trap. The gravitational weapons are coming from devices embedded throughout the rings. From the command center of Earth's defense vessel Thunder *. Commander Michelle Beck watched as her plan unfolded. Neptune defense grid fully activated, reported her tactical officer. Imperial fleet is caught in the gravity web. Beck nodded, her expression determined. Launch strike teams Alpha through Delta. Target their command ships while their shields are occupied with the debris. 12 Earth vessels broke from hiding, each armed with weapons that defied Imperial intelligence assessments. They moved with precision through the chaotic battlefield, targeting specific vulnerabilities in the Imperial ships. Aboard the Dominion *, Admiral Voss watched in growing horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled. Impossible, he muttered as another Imperial warship exploded. These are not the weapons of a Level 3 civilization. Admiral. Commander Zax shouted over the sound of alarms. Earth vessels are targeting our engine array with focused graviton beams. Shields at 37% and failing. Voss gripped the command rail as his flagship shuddered under another impact. How? How did they develop weaponry we abandoned millennia ago as too dangerous? On the Thunder *, Commander Beck watched the Imperial flagship struggle. "They're attempting to regroup," her sensor officer reported. Beck nodded. "Execute Phase 2. Let's show them what else we've learned." Across Neptune's orbit, hidden platforms emerged from the planet's clouds, unleashing electromagnetic pulses specifically calibrated to disable Imperial navigation systems. Half of the remaining Imperial ships suddenly drifted out of formation, their guidance systems scrambled. "Admiral." Commander Zax's voice was strained. 11 ships destroyed, 7 disabled, remaining vessels reporting critical damage. We cannot win this engagement." Admiral Voss, the Hammer, undefeated in 17 campaigns, stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "Order all functioning vessels to retreat," he finally commanded. "We must warn the Emperor." As the surviving Imperial ships fled the Neptune battlefield, Commander Beck allowed herself a small smile. "They'll be back," she said quietly. "But next time, they'll know we're not as primitive as they thought." Emperor Krell's face twisted with fury as Admiral Voss finished his report. The Grand War Room had emptied of all but the most essential personnel, none wanting to face the Emperor's wrath. "Half my battle group destroyed," Krell hissed, smashing his fist against the holographic display. "By primitives." Admiral Voss, still bearing fresh wounds from the battle, bowed his head. "The technology they deployed, Emperor, it was impossible. They used gravitational distortion fields, electromagnetic pulse weapons calibrated specifically to our systems, and targeting algorithms that anticipated our standard evasive patterns." Imperial Intelligence Director Mora stepped forward cautiously. "Your Majesty, I believe I may have an explanation." "Speak," Krell commanded. Mora activated a hidden data crystal. The holographic display changed to show a series of Imperial vessels, scout ships, research craft, even a small battlecruiser. These vessels all went missing in or near the Sol system over the past 2 centuries, Mora explained. "We assumed they were lost to navigation errors or cosmic phenomena." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "You suggest these humans have been shooting down our ships?" "Before we even made official contact." "The evidence is compelling," Mora continued. "Analysis of the weapons signatures from Neptune matches technology from these missing vessels. They've been studying us, Your Majesty, learning our weaknesses." Chief Science Advisor Trill gasped. "The gravitational weapons they used were experimental prototypes aboard the research vessel Luminary *. We abandoned that technology as too unstable over 500 years ago." "They stabilized it," Admiral Voss added grimly, "and deployed it against us." Emperor Krell rose from his throne, rage emanating from him in almost visible waves. "These humans have been planning this defiance for generations. They've stolen Imperial technology, reverse-engineered our weapons, and prepared for war before we even knew they existed." "There's more, Emperor," Mora said, her voice low. "Our deep cover agent on Mars has finally made contact. The humans have hidden facilities throughout their system where they've been developing hybrid technologies, combining our advanced systems with their unique approaches. On Earth, deep beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Ben Foster led Emperor Krell's furious hologram through the most secure research facility on the planet. As you can see, Emperor, Foster explained to the assembled Earth Defense Council, our guest is displeased with the revelation of our technological achievements. The holographic Emperor seethed. This facility, these are Imperial weapons systems. Improved Imperial systems, Foster corrected, gesturing to the massive chamber filled with salvaged and modified technology. This particular section houses components from the Imperial battlecruiser Vengeance *, which suffered an unfortunate navigation error near Jupiter in 2071. Council Chairwoman Elena Garcia stepped forward. For over 200 years, humanity has been aware of the Galactic Empire. Your scout ships were not as stealthy as you believed. Impossible, the Emperor's hologram shouted. First contact was only 50 years ago. Foster smiled thinly. Official first contact, yes, But our first encounter with Imperial technology was in 2037, when a damaged scout ship crashed in the Australian outback. We recovered the pilot's body and enough intact systems to begin our research. He led the council through rows of disassembled Imperial technology, weapons, shields, propulsion systems, all labeled and modified. You see, Emperor, humanity has one advantage your empire lacks after 30,000 years of dominance. We still know how to innovate. Your empire stopped developing centuries ago, merely replicating the same technologies across thousands of worlds. Dr. Foster activated a demonstration chamber where a small device pulsed with strange energy. This defensive system was considered too unstable by your scientists. We solved the containment problem in less than a decade. Chairwoman Garcia addressed the Emperor's hologram directly. Earth didn't suddenly develop advanced technology. We've been preparing for this confrontation for generations. Each Imperial vessel that ventured too close to our system provided more pieces to the puzzle. The Emperor's holographic face contorted with rage. You will pay for this deception. No, Garcia replied calmly. You will respect our boundaries. The battle at Neptune was just a small demonstration of our capabilities. Dr. Foster nodded. We have facilities like this across Earth and throughout our system. The question isn't whether we can defend ourselves, Emperor Krell. The question is, how much of your empire are you willing to sacrifice trying to prove us wrong? The private chamber of Imperial Spymaster Nex hummed with activity as agents prepared for their most ambitious operation. Holographic displays showed detailed maps of Earth's nations, political leaders, and defense systems. The humans have proven resistant to direct military action, Nex explained to his elite operatives. So we will exploit their greatest weakness, their divisions. Agent Kira, disguised to appear fully human, studied the profiles before her. Earth still maintains separate nations despite their unified defense. Precisely, Nex smiled coldly. For all their technological achievements, they retain primitive political structures. We will offer exclusive imperial treaties to key nations, technology, protection, and resources in exchange for breaking their planetary alliance. Within days, Imperial agents infiltrated governments across Earth. In Washington, Agent Kira met with Defense Secretary Wilson in a secured conference room. The Empire recognizes America's natural leadership position, she explained smoothly. Emperor Krell offers exclusive access to Imperial medical technology that would end all disease on your world. In exchange, we seek only base rights in your system and your withdrawal from Earth's defense coalition. Similar meetings occurred in Beijing, Moscow, New Delhi, and a dozen other capitals. Each nation received tailored offers designed to appeal to their specific interests and ambitions. President Olivia Daniels paced the Oval Office, her face grim as intelligence reports piled up on her desk. Every major nation has been approached, said Director Harris of Global Intelligence. The Empire is offering each government exactly what they most desire. Chief of Staff Rodriguez looked worried. Several cabinet members are already arguing we should consider the offer. The medical technology alone would save millions of lives. Daniel stopped pacing. And cost us our independence. Gather the Security Council immediately. And contact Chairwoman Garcia. We need an emergency session of the Global Defense Council. Within hours, leaders from every nation faced each other across the Global Defense Council's circular chamber in Geneva. The atmosphere was tense, suspicion evident as representatives eyed each other warily. We all know why we're here, Daniels began. The Empire has approached each of us separately, offering exclusive arrangements to abandon our alliance. President Lai of China nodded. They offered us advanced propulsion technology and energy systems, claiming they had made similar offers to Western nations already. They told us the Americans had already agreed in principle, added President Volkov of Russia. A murmur ran through the assembly as other leaders shared similar stories. Chairwoman Garcia raised her hand for silence. This is exactly what the Empire wants, to foster suspicion and division. We must remember that before our global alliance, humanity spent centuries fighting among ourselves. The Empire believes we will revert to our old patterns. President Daniels stepped forward. 200 years ago, our nations might have accepted these offers without hesitation. But we've learned from our history. The Empire doesn't understand that Earth's unity wasn't created by their threat. It was forged through centuries of painful lessons about the dangers of division. She activated the central display, showing a historical montage of Earth's conflicts and eventual unification. Our strength isn't just in the technology we salvage, Daniels continued. It's in what we learned from our own bloody history. We know the price of putting short-term national interests above our shared survival. Chancellor Müller of the European Federation stood. I propose we make the Empire's offers public to all citizens of Earth. Complete transparency will be our defense against their manipulation. Agreed, said Prime Minister Singh of India. Let our people see how the Empire attempts to manipulate us. Within hours, every Imperial offer was broadcast globally. Instead of the division the Empire expected, the reaction was unified outrage. Demonstrations erupted worldwide against Imperial interference. On the steps of the Defense Council building, President Daniels addressed a massive crowd and millions watching worldwide. For thousands of years, the Empire has expanded by turning neighbors against each other, offering special status to those who collaborate. They expected us to follow the same path. But humanity will not be divided. The crowd erupted in cheers as representatives from every nation stood together behind her. In his hidden chamber, Spymaster Nex watched the broadcast with disbelief. Impossible, he muttered. No species has ever rejected Imperial inducements. His aide looked troubled. Sir, what do we do now? Nex closed the holographic display. We inform the Emperor that these humans are unlike any species we have encountered before. They appear to have learned from their own history in ways we never anticipated. The Imperial flagship Sovereign appeared at the edge of the Sol system without warning. Unlike previous Imperial vessels, it came alone. A massive city-sized craft that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Earth's defense grid activated immediately, weapons locking onto the intruder. Admiral Porter watched from the command center beneath Geneva as sensor readings flooded in. It's the Emperor's personal vessel, he said quietly. No escort fleet, no battle group. Chairwoman Garcia studied the readings. A diplomatic approach. After everything. Perhaps, Porter replied, or a new type of weapon we haven't encountered before. The massive ship maintained position just beyond Pluto's orbit, broadcasting on all frequencies. Emperor Krell of the Galactic Empire requests direct communication with Earth's leadership. After brief deliberation, the Defense Council agreed to the communication. Emperor Krell's hologram materialized in the center of the council chamber, his imposing figure towering over the assembled human leaders. You have surprised me, Krell began without preamble. In 30,000 years, no civilization has resisted Imperial integration so effectively. President Daniels stepped forward. We are not interested in integration, Emperor. Our terms remain unchanged. The Sol system is off-limits to Imperial presence. Krell's expression remained unreadable. After considerable reflection, I have come to discuss terms. A murmur of surprise rippled through the council chamber. Terms? Garcia asked cautiously. I propose a meeting, Krell responded. One representative from Earth may board my vessel. I will attend alone as well. We will negotiate a resolution to this impasse. The council debated for hours after Krell's hologram disappeared. Many suspected a trap, but ultimately Admiral Porter volunteered. I understand their military mindset better than anyone, he argued. And if it is a trap, better to lose one admiral than our civilian leadership. 24 hours later, Porter's shuttle approached the massive Imperial flagship. The vessel's scale became increasingly apparent. A structure larger than Earth's largest cities, housing millions of Imperial citizens. Porter was escorted through gleaming corridors to a simple meeting room where Emperor Krell waited alone, without guards or advisors. "Admiral Porter," Krell acknowledged, gesturing to a chair. "You show courage coming here." "As do you, meeting without your guards," Porter replied, taking the seat across from the Emperor. Krell studied the human with interest. "In 30 millennia of Imperial expansion, no world has ever forced us to negotiate. Your species presents a unique situation." Porter remained silent, waiting. "Your defensive capabilities are impressive," Krell continued. "More impressive is your unity in the face of our attempts to divide you. Most remarkable, however, is what you did not do." "And what was that?" Porter asked. "You did not counterattack," Krell replied. "After defeating Admiral Voss at Neptune, you had tactical advantage. Your ships could have pursued our retreating vessels. You did not. We only want to protect what's ours," Porter explained. "We have no interest in Imperial territory." Krell placed a data crystal on the table. "These are my terms: recognition of Sol as sovereign space, non-interference from the Empire in Earth affairs. In exchange, humanity will not share its defensive technology with other worlds under Imperial control." Porter examined the crystal. "Why the change of position, Emperor? Your empire has never recognized boundaries before." Krell's expression hardened. "Because I recognize the cost of the alternative. Your weapons are devastating, yes, but more dangerous is your example. Already, 12 worlds in the Orion sector have begun citing Earth's precedent in rejecting Imperial governors." Porter couldn't hide his surprise. "Yes," Krell continued. "News travels. If we wage prolonged war against Earth, even if we eventually prevail, dozens more worlds might rebel. The Empire would face unprecedented instability." After hours of discussion, Porter returned to Earth with the Emperor's terms. The Defense Council debated for 3 days before reaching their decision. 1 week later, Porter met Emperor Krell again, this time with Chairwoman Garcia. "We accept your recognition of Sol's sovereignty," Garcia said, "but reject your non-proliferation demand. Earth will determine its own allies and relationships." Krell's eyes narrowed. "You risk Imperial wrath." "No," Porter replied firmly. "We're establishing a new principle in the galaxy. Self-determination isn't unique to humans. Your empire has suppressed it across thousands of worlds for too long." Garcia placed Earth's counter-proposal before the Emperor. "These are our terms: a recognized boundary for Earth and Imperial acknowledgement of any world's right to petition for independence." "Impossible," Krell hissed. "Inevitable," Porter corrected. "The galaxy is changing, Emperor. You can fight the tide and watch your empire crumble, or adapt and survive in a new galactic order." After a tense silence, Krell signed the document. The first boundary the Galactic Empire had recognized in its 30,000-year history. As their shuttle departed the Imperial flagship, Garcia looked at Porter. "This isn't just independence for Earth, is it?" "No," Porter replied, watching as the massive Imperial vessel prepared to depart. "It's the beginning of freedom for hundreds of worlds. Earth won't just be defenders. We'll be liberators."